And breaking news just minutes ago, federal prosecutors just announced their first guilty plea in the Capitol riot cases from January 6th. NBC's Pete Williams has more on this. And Pete, we should note today marks 100 days since that insurrection. What more can you tell us about this case and who exactly
it involves?
To be clear, Jeff,
the federal prosecutors haven't actually announced this. It's actually happening right now in federal court in Washington. John Schaefer of Indiana, who originally was charged with entering the Capitol building with bear spray and spraying it at police officers, has now agreed to plead guilty in a plea hearing that's still going on right now. He's going to plead guilty to 2 charges: unlawfully entering a restricted building and obstructing an official proceeding. What's significant about this case, Jeff, is that the government says he is a longtime member of the Oath Keepers. And this is a landmark movement here for the prosecutors, because there's only so much they can do based on what they've done so far, which is try to exploit social media and messaging to really get into the minds of people who were involved in this. They do need to get some guilty pleas. And so this is the first one. Not only is it the first guilty plea in these 400 or so plus cases, it's also a guilty plea involving a member of what authorities say are the 2 main groups who were at the forefront and the vanguard of pushing into the Capitol, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. So that's why it's a big development happening, as you say, 100 days since the Capitol riot.
And Pete, as you've been speaking, Vice President Kamala Harris, as I understand it, just addressed the shooting in Indianapolis. We're waiting for that video to come in, which we'll play as soon as we get it. I have to ask, though, is this first guilty plea perhaps the beginning of more to come, or we just don't know yet?
Well, I think that's certainly the hope of the government. There have been indications that they're trying to get guilty pleas. Look, there are going to be a lot of guilty pleas. There's kind of 3 different tiers of cases here. The bottom tier is people who did nothing more than enter the Capitol, grin into their cameras and take a selfie, and they'll be charged with, in essence, sort of glorified trespassing charges. You'll see a lot of those guilty pleas, and that really doesn't mean much. The important guilty pleas are those who were more involved in the violence, more involved in the planning, and the government's claim here is that this John Schaefer, who, by the way, is relatively well known in the heavy metal music world as a member of the band Iced Earth. If you look him up on Wikipedia, that's what comes up. So he has some notoriety already, but that's the key to the government's case, to be able to really unlock, all right, who was the central planner of this? Well, how did this all come to happen? And to get into the minds of the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, that's going to be sort of the key for the government, and that's why this plea is potentially important.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.